welcome to Sisterhood Connection. We are so excited for you to join us again. It is myself, Michelle, and who else are we having here today?
SP Erica. And wait. We have literally announced because we have one of the most talented, yes. One of the most, and I got to say it because we're going to dip back into your generation. I mean, not your generation, your mom's generation. Good looking, easy on the eyes, talented singer, actor. And we're going to learn about what he's doing now. So, y'all, he's been busy. Mr. Christopher Williams.
Hey, Sisterhood Connection. What's happening? How y'all doing?
Doing good. He's still suave, ladies. He's still cool.
Right. Y'all heard that, right?
How y'all doing? It's a generational thing. It's a Gen X thing. I keep telling y'all that. It's what it is.
We grew up watching Billy D. Williams and Calvin Lockhart.
Oh my gosh! Of course, absolutely, yes.
Don't get my mom started on that. Please.
Okay, because oh my goodness.
She used to tell us. Oh, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know what a real man is. Y'all don't know what good looking. Well,
yeah. Like, okay, now, yes, we do. Thank you.
Oh, we do.
And talent.
We're a great looking race of people.
We are. We really are.
They tried to convince us differently, but we know it.
Oh, we know. Exactly. Of course. They're just hating. That's okay. It's okay.
Tell us what you've been up to. Tell us, what is Christopher Williams doing? Tell us, how did you get started? Where did you get your start from?
Honestly, I would have to give that to my grandmother initially. Obviously growing up watching Michael Jackson was exciting. He definitely lit the fire, but I could never sing high like Mike. And I'm from the Bronx. I can't dance at all. I could two-step, but that's about it. But my grandfather was a pastor, and my grandmother her name was Aretha, probably was my best friend when I was a kid, miss her to this day. But I think I learned to sing trying to shut her up in church because she was such a loud, squalling singer. And her and Sister Emmanuel would just scream over the rest of the people in church. So I think when I was younger, my goal was to basically just start out singing. And she would always say that I could sing, but I wasn't sure. Then when I started really getting into Michael Jackson and listening to the sounds of the 70s, David Ruffin, I remember hearing. So what I would do is I'd give my sister and my cousin Honeybee. I don't know how we were the Jackson 5, but somehow I guess they were two people each, and I was Michael. And then when I was in the Bronx in the projects with my grandmother, I'm from Edenwald Projects in New York, my uncle Larry, Keith, and Timmy would serve as the Temptations. So we were always a few members short, but we made it work. And I was David Ruffin, and my uncle Larry used to double as Eddie Kendricks at the time because I get the high singing. I could sing falsetto, but I never really liked it. Once in a while, I jump in and out. But I'm not the greatest falsetto singer, though I should challenge myself more, but I tend to do more squalling like Teddy Pendergrass or some Marvin Sapp or people like that.
Okay. Well, funny you should bring up Teddy Pendergrass because literally I would compare you because I was raised in that era where my parents loved, Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye, Al Green, that type of music.
Barry White, those were the greats.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
When I first heard your voice, it was like, oh, this is like the new, not that I'm comparing you at all, but it's like, this is the new generation Teddy. It was just, don't worry about hitting those notes because the ladies love that deep smooth.
I learned at an early age because I did the same thing. I fell in love with Luther, Teddy, and Marvin all at the same time. They were literally like my teachers. And whenever I do concerts, still to this day, I always pay homage to all three of those guys because they were certainly my teachers. Although Jeffrey Osborne and James Ingram and all of those guys served as as mentors, and to become older and have the creative fulfill my dreams. And I got to work with Jeffrey and James, and they're like older brothers. Rest in paradise, James. But the journey's been amazing. So when I do my shows, I always pay homage to all those guys who those flat-footed singers that really made it possible that I'm standing on the shoulders of people like me and Keith Washington and Gerald Levert and Johnny Gill
Exactly.
and Ryan McKnight. I think we all have all gleaned from, these different amazing artists. Like back in the day, even Lionel Richie when he was black. I'm just playing. I can't hate that, but Lionel's still black. I'm just playing. He's a great.
Yeah.
But back when he was with the Commodores, his
Yeah.
pens, those records, they were just they stamped a moment in time. And I don't think you remember.
Right.
Every time I hear "I must have been a foolish dreamer," I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It
You
reminds
mean
me of it
Yeah.
reminds me of like, when we were younger. So
Yes.
It's that
yeah,
sultry sound. It's that soul sound. It's just, it moves you.
It's like no
Mhm.
other. It is like it is a
Exactly.
gift that was given to us. Well, we'll leave it at that.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that.
our
That
generation rock. We did.
when
We're
I
the
tell
twins.
you, all right, we're gonna bring you on the Battle of the Generations episode.
Right. Because we're going to talk about
Seriously.
that. The music
Yeah,
then, the
we
music
need a Gen
now.
X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need a
Listen,
Gen X
what
representative.
young groups are outperforming New Edition? Kind of hard. That's the
That's difficult.
big
That is
temptation.
darn near
It's
impossible.
just not that kind of commitment and precision, and
Right.
in today's times it's hard to build that kind of catalog of work that transcends
Mhm.
three,
Right.
4 decades. I mean, even when you think about Diana Ross, who's going to be able to make a number one record in 5 decades?
Right.
That's
Right.
pretty like, wow.
Yeah, it
Right.
is.
Chaka
It
Khan,
is.
I believe Chaka Khan's had hits in 4 decades. These were
Mhm.
like real singers who really, and different, people would say, well, Donna Ross was never a great singer. Her tone was great,
Right.
she, and just her whole swag and how she's taking care of herself, and
Mhm.
legacy lives through her daughter and her son. And
Exactly.
it's amazing to see these kind of things happen.
Right.
Exactly. It's a discipline. It's a team effort. It's a commitment to the art of it. And the
It-
commitment
It's not,
is,
people think it's
it's not
easy to start
there.
Smokey Robinson. It's not.
Right.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And
Right.
man, it's 80s still getting checks for 70 million.
Right.
Phones.
Right. Right.
So
Hey, I
it's a,
know.
Exactly.
it's a great thing, and it's inspiring. So I'm just honored to be a part of the Legion of Doom, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I grew up around my aunt, who was legendary in her own right. So I've always
Exactly.
learned how to just appreciate, the experiences, but yet don't get too high, don't get too low. My aunt was Ella Fitzgerald, great jazz singer,
Yes.
icon, legendary jazz singer. She would always tell me that. And just the way she lived in her real life, as much as she had and who she was, we spent most of our time arguing about the Yankees and the Brooklyn Dodgers. She hated the Yankees because and I'm from the Bronx, so I'm a Bronx bomber. But just more than all the accolades and the things she did, it's those moments I remember just having one-on-one time with her, and just her being my aunt. And I never asked her for anything in music, and she was really impressed with that. And before she smashed, she told me, because when one person makes it from one of our families, I mean, it makes it to that level. I mean,
Right.
I don't have to tell you that the pressure for your daughters becomes,
Yeah.
it can become overwhelming and tremendous. And I'm like
Yeah.
telling my family, hey, wait a minute, I ain't Lionel Richie yet. I ain't Steve.
Right. Yeah.
Let,
Yeah.
let me get out the project.
Yeah. That is true. That is so true. So let me ask you this. So when because it's a little different now with this new generation with breaking into the business, because there's all about the number of followers you have. Back when we were coming up, did you have to audition or were you discovered? Because it wasn't about having a huge following base.
It's funny. I think destiny found me.
Okay.
I was a kid who was uprooted. I was adopted. I never knew my mom and dad really. I knew my mom as I got older in life, and we formed a
Okay.
great relationship. But I lost her early on. So at the height of my career, I lost my mother my younger brother Mark and my grandmother back to back. So
Whoa.
that was really like the first pit that was the first like challenge, trying to keep a good face and enjoy what was going on in my music career. And then simultaneously, I think I grew up in the business and learned how tumultuous and treacherous the actual business was. And that's when I started having a lot of run-ins with record labels and people who I thought, really loved me. And it wasn't about that. It was, the business is a much bigger word than show.
Right.
And that's what I always tell younger people. You got to pay attention to your business. And that's the good thing about today, is that because of the algorithm world and the meta world and all this stuff, you can kind of grasp more ownership if you know how to deal with it. And contrary to what our radio and our generation believes, there's a lot of extraordinary, amazing, talented young kids out here. I mean, there's an allegiance of women: Summer Walker, SZA, her, Jasmine Sullivan, and Ellie Mae. I'm like, where are all of these phenoms coming from? I mean, we have Bruno and Andy Pack, and of course Breezy. Chris is still, no matter what they say about my man, that's my.
He's
And
unstoppable.
Like Chris Brown always say, I say the same thing, but who gonna sing it like Chris?
Right.
Exactly.
I see all these challenges and all that. I don't get into all of that because, again, they're cool and fun to watch because different people have been discovered from it. You got this young brother, Avery Wilson, who's like, when he sings, my eyes go like this.
He is phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
Okay.
So
I
music
haven't
is
heard
in
that.
good hands. I just think the perception of it is not because of how they promote the other part of the business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're learning from that. We're experiencing that, not to kick people in the down, but all the craziness that's going on with, whether these moguls, whether you're, no matter what color they are, and, whether their names are Harvey or this one or that one, this one, we're saying that these are things, the success is perpetuated by debauchery, unfortunately. So those of us who have survived it, it's our duty to pass the education and truth on to the younger generation. So when I see people like Skip Marley, because Robin Nesta is my favorite artist, people think that Marvin and Teddy are, because again, Robert Bob Marley was such a unique creature. One, he was a prophet, and he was teaching the vibe in his music. I tell people this all along. You would think that the Jacksons, they're an incredible music family, absolutely from all the brothers, and Janet, I'm sure, sitting and watching, and Randy all those times, and then seeing it fall on Janet and the opportunities falling on her. But what people don't realize is they'll always say, well, she's Janet Jackson because she's Michael's sister. No, Janet stepped in and took advantage of those opportunities.
Exactly.
And that's really what a lot of us need to learn inside of our cultures. Like, entitlement is not it. Hard work, and really seizing opportunities, because it's our duty to open the door or window, but if you're not ready to seize the opportunity, then it's for naught. And see, when you lose your place, the 6 or 10 people you were supposed to pass the baton to lose their place.
Right.
So,
Yes, you have to be available.
Right. So it's when you say, I get exactly what you're saying with opportunity, and I believe 100% exactly what you're saying, because we also tell our children that as well. But that's a perfect transition, because you also transitioned into acting. And so there had to be an opportunity, and it's one of
the real truth is I'm an actor who can sing a little bit.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's really
Wait. All right, now switch. So did you start acting and then it kind of shifted
My
in?
first professional job was with George C. Scott when I was 13 years old, but I was close to play a 15-year-old, and my mom and my sister Belinda know the actual production. But I hadn't turned 13. It was the summer of my 13th birthday. And I called back. At this particular role, I was cussing like a sailor. And, my mom, they're church folks, you know what I mean? So that role was like hard for me to digest. So I had to pass on the role.
Okay.
Because there were certain things, homeschooling, certain things had to be done. So that kind of broke my heart as an actor. So I joined a band called Prestige, the only band I'd ever been in. Shout out to my boys in the Bronx, all the noise we made, Daryl Irick, Wayne England, and Sidney Rimbert, and Martine Renault, and Cynthia Bennett. I always give them a shout out because those were like the seeds that planted me to know, like, okay, I really could get out here and be the front man. And from learning with all the personalities that I didn't want any drama, I knew I wanted to be solo right after that. So I, I did have a turn, as I told you guys in a pre-interview. I grew up in the projects. I grew up kind of hard in the Bronx. I was, the grace on my life spared me from the earlier decisions and circumstances that I had to overcome from,
Uh-huh.
you know, the streets and stuff like that. And it actually led me to an opportunity. That's why I say it was destiny. It was like, it was almost like the creator was pulling me over here. Here, meet Timmy Allen, who would go on
Uh-huh.
to R. Kelly and Backstreet Boys, and Fritz Cadet, rest in paradise. Fritz, he was an amazing guitar player who played on the Change record for Luther Vandross. So a lot of people don't
Mm.
realize roots in this music. I've always been. I actually had one of my first songs stolen from Lilo Thomas, and I recently just met Lilo at a show for the first time in my whole career.
Wow.
So
Wow.
all of these amazing stories and journeys. And I was telling him, do you realize me and Timmy Allen and Fritz wrote Settle Down? We actually wrote this joint. Oh, girl, you're good for me. I love you so much. And you would make me settle down. And oh, girl. So anyway, we wrote that song, and I met this crooked attorney, Steve Tepinko, and then that's how
You just gonna
those
slide
lessons.
past that like we're not gonna just croon and
Yeah,
swoon.
we're not gonna just let you,
Right.
keep going.
So
Right.
even at
We
that
have
young
to
age, I was talking
digest
smack
that.
about settling down and trying to
Mhm.
find the perfect lady and all that. But we did write it together. It wasn't just written by Christopher Williams. And
Right.
Timmy Allen and Fritz Cadet were major components of seasoning me. Allison Williams. Obviously my Aunt Ella was she was like, I could touch it. I was like,
Yeah.
again,
Uh-huh.
this is normal fame. This is like, I grew up under Ella Fitzgerald and didn't realize who she was till I really turned about 15, 16 and started,
Serious.
like, again, she was literally just my aunt who was overbearing.
Well, yeah, that's a little different.
and,
I get it. Because I'm
Right.
and,
like,
Because because family,
and
yeah, it's a
very,
whole different
and
thing. It'd be a
yeah.
whole different
and
perspective
and very
of that
and very
person.
strict. And when I was a
Right.
kid, it's funny. Like I remember going to the Reese's Theater with my mom, my sister Belinda, and I have childhood pictures with Count Basie and Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. And these people were just my aunt's friends, and
Right. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the weight of it.
I
Uh,
mean, you were so, and
I
uh-huh.
didn't
see,
even
it's
realize it.
almost, it feels as if God was positioning you
It was
Yes.
like
in the
destiny.
perfect
That's why I
spot
said I don't know
to,
if I could take any credit for it. It was like destiny because even to not to jump back a little bit, those times when I was a young child and I was wondering who I was and just having challenges and dealing with my temperament because I was
yeah,
angry.
Uh-huh.
It was almost like the creator put this song in my heart as my best friend, and it has been my best friend. Music has
Uh,
been one of my best friends forever, whether it's my music,
that is perfect.
Marvin Gaye's music, Teddy
yeah,
Pendergrass, whoever's music, because I listen to a vast array of music.
Mm-hmm.
West Montgomery,
Right.
all these people have sold into this journey. And the funny thing, like I was telling you the other day, I don't feel my best work is done yet because
That's fantastic.
I've been in the wilderness
right. I get
searching for
exactly what you're
searching
saying.
for the promised land because of
Uh-huh.
who I am as a
Right.
man, what I stood for in music. Um, I people think I lost my career because I was whack or I fell off. No, I stepped out because the business wasn't right. And I didn't
Right.
want to
Uh-huh.
get to a point where I traded my destiny, which was given to me, purpose
Right.
Yes,
for me,
the music. Mm-hmm.
Right.
for my
And
temperament,
see,
because I was going to kill somebody, honestly.
yeah, and I get that because I believe me, the things that go, people only see what they see. They see the performance. They see,
Uh-huh.
they see all of that, but they have no idea. You may have just walked out the dressing room in a heated,
Debate.
battle
Mm-hmm.
or debate
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just saying, they don't know, they don't see it, and it's fine. They shouldn't see it. But those who are trying to get into the business, they need to know. Listen, it's going to be a
And that's
battle.
what I do like about the viral world and these conversations, because if you're paying attention and you're not just chasing the bag, because I think this language we've been taught, as we talked of earlier, teaches us to go backwards instead of forwards. The bag should chase us. If you chase your purpose, your bag will chase you.
Yes.
And I
Say
don't
that
even have
again for the
anything
people in the
against.
back. Oh
I
my
For
don't
the
even.
people
God.
in the back,
Yeah,
repeat that statement.
believe that if you chase your purpose, the bag will chase you. And the thing is,
Exactly.
people look at, well, I don't see it, but okay, where's your faith?
Yeah.
Right.
Because people who win, like I'm an ex-baseball player, you strike out 70% of the time and you win 30%, which is a losing percentage, which goes back into this mathematics, this false mathematics. You go to the Hall of Fame on winning 30% in baseball. So what baseball teaches you is not to worry about the strikeouts, but to worry about the hits, the contributions, the walks, bunts,
Exactly.
sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly. And that's really life.
All right.
That's really
So
life.
wait. So not only do you sing, you act, and you're also athletic.
I used to be.
It's
So
still in
But
let
there.
me
It's
tell
still
you.
in there.
I'm getting
Let
back
me
though,
tell
because I
you.
was in a coma 2.5 years ago. So I'm getting
Well,
back to some.
yeah, let me tell you now. Look, my husband Mike always says, once an athlete is always an athlete. Now you might get older and can't do the
That's
things, but
true.
once an athlete is always an athlete. So
True. I
I
got
don't
20
know.
seconds. I got 20 seconds.
Okay, maybe 5 for me. I'm not an athlete, so that's a different thing.
We played
But
golf. Yeah.
you might get no, that
It's
didn't work
you
for us
know what it
either. We
is. You
tried
know
that
what it
too.
is at this. You know what it is at this age is that we doing it now from the neck up,
From the
and
That's
yeah.
it.
That's
this
it.
part doesn't want to. It doesn't want to go along with us as much as it used to. It used to be a
Listen,
given. Now it
it's
Right.
just
true. The best athletics you're gonna get from me is okay. We're walking. Let's go. Let's go walk 3 to 5 miles. There you go.
I'm actually starting to jog again. I didn't know if I'd ever walk again in life, period. But I'm starting to be able to do a slow jog. I tried it a couple of weeks ago while I was in New York because I was staying right on the
All right.
right on the Hudson. You can look right into the city. So it's a great walk or run every morning.
Right.
And one morning I was out there feeling good. I said, let me see if I could jog without falling down. Nobody's around. Nobody will see me. So I got super padded up and put on 2 sweatsuits, and I did a
Right.
little
Right. You have to get ready.
did a
Right.
little quick jog, and I actually made it. I probably did like a half a mile, but I probably jogged a quarter mile down and a quarter mile back. And again, for somebody who 2.5 years ago, my mission was to take 25 steps to get out of ICU and
Now,
to get.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
well, tell us. You don't have to go in detail about whatever the issues. So to tell us like what motivated you to come from a place where you don't know if you'll be able to take a step again to say, you know what, I gotta do something.
My
And then to
family,
this point, you're able to do a
my
job.
family, my family.
Family. Okay.
Because I guess honestly, anybody would say that was rock bottom, but my family, even down to my estranged relationship, but everybody showed their unconditional love for me as far as my family, and that motivated me. And I think at the time, my son had just become engaged to my daughter-in-law Monica, and I, especially for my older son Christopher, as a kid, he's had all kinds of crazy stuff, including the real Ninja Turtles at his party and stuff like that. But I think because of my mission to break what I thought was a generational curse, I thought it was me who would break it, but it would be my son who would break it. But I was the cliff diver who had to sacrifice to say, I'm going to change the trajectory of the Williams last name.
All right.
It won't be total abandonment. And I didn't do everything right. I'm not saying I did,
Right.
but the grace, the,
None of
the,
us
gr-
do.
the
No, we
grace
don't.
on my life got me to the point where with all that didn't go right, my kids were at my feet waiting for their father to wake back up. And not only after being in a coma all those days, but literally seeing me go from 195 pounds to 138 pounds.
Wow.
I'm saying that I couldn't even talk, let alone sing. I couldn't even talk.
So you're a walking miracle,
Yeah.
literally.
I just had a lot of revelation in the hospital. I went through the craziest stuff in the hospital because I didn't take the shot. I didn't take the vaccine. I don't,
Yeah.
I just didn't take it. And I went through, my insurance failed me, all kinds of crazy revelation that happened. And the creator spoke to me. And I think I found out, it's funny, I kept reading about, at the time I was talking to my pastors, my pastor, the only pastor I've ever had, his name was Dr. Dimitri Bradley. He passed about 4 years ago in a crash after Bible study on Wednesday. And the funny thing is there's no skid marks, no brake marks, no nothing. And we had just literally gotten off the phone.
Wow.
He would always tell me, hey, Doc, we would laugh because he used to rap, and his testimony was like he wanted to be a rapper, and he got involved in some stuff, and they were about to convict him. And he, for the first time in his life, got on his knees in his cell and said, you know, God, if you take this from me, I'll serve you the rest of your life. And he did that greatly, and it inspired me. But then me being me, as we said the other day, I have to look past what his story is.
Yeah.
Feels like
Right.
we talked about the language they've taught, the indoctrination they've taught, um, from A to Z. I had to look past that, but I needed to get to that place. And that's what I mean early in the conversation about seed time and harvest. Sometimes somebody will plant the seed, somebody you least expect will water it, somebody else will be
Exactly.
sunshine, and then there's somebody else to help you
Right. Right.
manipulate crops. And I think that's the season I'm in all facets. Like, it's funny, last year I thought I met the perfect management for me. And I still love this guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but in case he hits, I just want him to know he's my brother, and that's all I love. But out of the blue, like, two League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came to me. And instead of talking and planning, they just started doing. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And to the point where people are like, damn, Chris, I'm seeing you everywhere. Like places like the City Winery, because again, when I switched to what I stood for in the 90s, I'm the first Williams to say these niggas like to party, and I don't party. So, you know, shout out to my boy Cat, but but just for what I stood for, and then to see them try to, they know who I am, to see them try to destroy my reputation and my name and blackball. And these are people who even cared about me, but they care more for the, the situation. They're trying to get, they're connected to that deity, and they can't disconnect. So that's what they're going to choose always. So I say that only to say that you can't worry about when people let you down. You got to keep your faith, keep your eye on your goal. And and that's why it's also, I try to celebrate people like, well, you haven't made music, but I'm not music.
Right.
I'm a part of
We
this.
found that out today. Yeah, there's so much more. There's so much more to you. And you have, and based on our, previous quick conversations, we had earlier, there's so much more that you, as a man, that you've gone through, that you've learned, that you've grown into, and the journey that you're on now. I feel that it's a good time that you share like where your next adventure is, or your
The next
what do you
It will,
plan?
in the
it,
story
it will
of
be,
Christopher Williams.
it will be
Yes.
music, and it will be music and projects that entertain, but they're going to be about real subject matters. We want to make movies about Denmark Vesey, about Abir Bakari 1 and 2. I hear Michael B's make about Mansa Musa, so celebrate.
Yes, I just saw that
It's a beautiful place.
yesterday.
So I want to teach people more about the Moors, and that we are indigenous, not better, but we are first. And there are people who are less melanated who understand that truth. We're all I and I, like Bob Marley said, we're one people. And I
Exactly.
just believe, I'm not for everybody, but this podcast, Lions of Judah, with my partner Kenyatta Slade, is going to be ground moving. I think it's going to be healing for people. I don't think we're assigned to everyone, but I think for the people who are interested in seeking to search for themselves, what does this tree really bear? And just because they say this is the only tree, is that true? I mean, we look at these buildings in America and all over the world where it says founded. Where'd you find it?
Right.
And why are you and why does it say when it's built? And you mean to tell me with technology and engineering back in the 1800s, 1600s, 1400s, you have something that's still standing that was carved with a hammer and a chisel? And you
Right.
tell us 10,000 slaves built the pyramids.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just like they told us milk will do your body good. We're going to kick it off this summer. We're actually in construction with our first restaurant with an amazing vegan chef. Her name is Charlize Rockwood. Half Mauritian, half Jamaican young lady. She has an amazing testimony. Her dad died of cancer, which really changed her whole life and her motivation for what food really is and how we were supposed to be taught the food. And I have nothing against food. I mean, again, I used to be the chicken wing king. But
Because I definitely want to
and actually
watch. Because
before I
my
was the
dad.
chicken wing king, I was the BLT king. So
Oh
again, I'm
no,
not.
not this.
No, no, no. You got to make a tomato. Take the bacon off. Even though I ate some last night,
Uh-huh.
and the lettuce off. Because Michelle loves this sandwich, and just eat a tomato sandwich.
Christopher, I don't know your middle name. Have you ever heard of a tomato sandwich? Just tomato.
It's tomato
Listen,
and mango and
I'm from
bread.
the projects, and we used to make grilled cheese on the radiator.
Oh Lord.
But I have never heard of a tomato sandwich.
See,
I've heard of mayonnaise. One of my best friends, Ali Aki, used to make the tuna fish, grits, cheese, and tomato, and
Oh
that was good. I couldn't
wow.
eat that either, but he
wait,
loved it.
roll up.
Tuna fish, grits, and cheese.
Cheese and tomatoes.
Who told him to do that?
I don't know, but
I'm sorry.
so
Okay, we're
they
wait.
would make it in a casserole.
Oh my God.
And
That
y'all gonna
sounds
laugh.
good.
You gonna laugh about my tomato sandwich?
Right.
It's
I'm
just
not yeah,
mayo, tomato, and bread.
that tops it. That tops it. I have to say that tops it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We
but
Tomato,
I
may
that
have
was a
explore
syrup
we may
sandwich.
explore that though in the restaurant. See if we can
just
come up with
try
like
it.
maybe a tomato crisp or something. We'll ask, but we're doing our first restaurant in Brooklyn on Franklin and Eastern Parkway called Vegan Solicious. Will be opening this summer, and we're actually going to do the podcast in the VIP section of this because this is obviously going to be music based. We're going to have unplugged evenings there in the summer in
Oh,
Brooklyn.
that's
Hey,
going to be
We got an outside atrium, and this lady is she's got to be one of the 10 greatest vegan chefs. Like like we tasted her food and it was almost like, wait a minute. And I first met her at Club Quarantine and I was sampling the food and I kept going to, and my friend Marvis, who's like a steak and potatoes man from Detroit. This is one of Tommy Hearn's. Like I said, I've had such an amazing journey. So my boy Fat Cat from Detroit, who used to work with Tommy Hearns in his heyday and all of that, and now works with Mike Epps and Martin Lawrence, does merchandising and stuff. So
okay.
he's just eating it. We're just eating it. Like we're just dogging these hors d'oeuvres. And he thought it was real meat. And it
Oh
wasn't. And he was
wow.
like, and he, I can't say what he said, but he was like,
Right.
get on out of here. And
yeah, yeah,
so she
yeah.
started explaining to us, and then we started following her page and started seeing how, and she just put a book out. So I want everyone to support her book, Vegan Solicious, Charlize Rockwood. She's on the
Mhm.
QVC channel with Venus Williams. So she's
Oh,
working with
really?
yeah, she's working with Venus on on Venus's QVC situation.
Okay.
So a lot of great things happening for her.
So
Um,
what's her name again, and where can we find the book?
You can find the book, Charlize Rockwood. She's on Instagram under vegan. Everything is vegan solicious.
Okay.
VeganSolicious. Vegan
Oh, I
solicious.
love it. So soul loose. Okay, I
So
like
That
that.
is
I
solicious.
like that.
fantastic.
Yeah, great name. She's an amazing young lady, and her food is it's wicked. It's
That
wicked.
sounds like a road trip, Erica.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
you'll
when I
Writing
see
it
took
you'll
that
down.
see
road
And
Yeah,
she's
summer.
cooked for Styles P and a lot of alternative people who, again, how she got to Venus and all that. But anytime someone tastes her food, they understand what her purpose in life is.
That's all
And
right. I'll reach out to
and
Venus.
her
Well, it's
backstory
okay.
is amazing. Her relationship with her father, it almost like make you tear up. So she got me and my partner Don in Kenyatta. She told us the story, and we were like, "All right, let's put the podcast aside and let's roll with this restaurant because
Okay.
we see something that could be amazing. It's her dream, it's her baby, it's her. She's going to birth it, but we're just going to be like the three kings that stand around to try to
And
help her
watch and
see.
try the different the
No,
entrees.
just be there to just help her manifest this, and I think that it's going to be good for people. We're trying to get a book in the Board of Education curriculum so that the
Mm,
food become a little different for kids. Because
Nice.
the idea is if children start thinking that seed tastes as good, or you can prepare seeds and greens, living
right.
things, and you can get somebody to prepare them in a way that's fun. And because she's a mom of an 11-year-old model who has her daughter Emmy, shout out to Emmy, who has a billboard on 42nd Street in Times Square. She's
Okay.
a little like Gap model and a few other things. So she's an interesting lady. She has a lot of cool stuff going on. And just watch out for Vidi Solicious. That's going to be the first restaurant in Brooklyn, again on Franklin and Grand Avenue. And the podcast will start up this summer because we're still galvanizing a lot of information. And
Right.
what this podcast is going to do, me and Kenyatta are actually going to go to a lot of remote places in the world. And it's kind of like we're going to make it like the most interesting man in the world kind of thing. And hopefully get to, piggyback and take the stuff that we feel is good from different things. There's just a lot of great brothers and sisters out here who are looking for the truth, who are finding the truth, who
Right.
are educating people. And so we can get out of this matrix.
Yes.
A lot of people are so caught up with the with the paradigm of confusion and just division. And
Right.
anything, we talked about that. I just believe honestly in my heart that the creator never wanted religion. He wanted spirituality. I don't believe that he ever wanted government. One of the greatest empires in the world was the Malian Empire that did not have a government. We sitting here fighting about red and blue, who's this, who's that. I mean, the truth is, it's like good cop, bad cop. They're all on the same mission.
Exactly.
You hope that one can, what they put in the Constitution, one could actually be like, first and foremost, their primary goal could be we the people. We haven't experienced that yet, but
Mm-hmm.
prayerfully one day soon we will.
Yep. That's the
And it's
goal.
any administration, it's government. We're hearing a few good things. The media is, one side of media is going to dog them. The other side of media is going to dog her. And it's a thing of divide and conquer. And
Right.
you can see the civil unrest,
Right.
between, which is really sad right now. So I'm just hoping
Yeah.
those things dissipate. So,
Yep.
Yeah. It's
uh,
getting very, very challenging to
That's a great word.
stay people right now. And I
and I
was
think that we also, because of how our story was originated, we aren't slaves.
Mhm.
And I say that with total, I know people be like, well, he's not old enough for it. You know what people went through? No, we are not born slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's not our story.
Right.
Right.
But
Right.
we're so fixed on that. And I get it. There's a reason why, because it was tumultuous and there was people, there's been a foot on our neck for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the part that's going to cure it is truth and love. It's not going to be destruction and division.
Right.
So if you're thinking that it's one way and it's another because it's a red or a blue or it's this or it's that, we've been preaching we shall overcome since Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers, and we're still discussing Title IX. I thought we did that already.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
this is
yes,
like a
this is true.
perpetual system that's, what's up, my brother? We getting solar
Yeah.
panels
Yep.
in the house too, so I'm sorry.
So that'll be a great. So it sounds like your podcast is really going to cover a menagerie of topics
Friends,
and subjects, and it
including
is.
including
I'm
my
looking forward
including
to it. I really am
including
looking
my
forward to
legal
it.
including my legal battles, because I just, for the first time in 30 years, got my royalties, which was stolen from me from
Wow.
the people who said they loved me, and actually an assistant that I had that I brought into business, who never says I brought him into business, but when I met him, he was working at Baskin Robbins in Encino
Wow.
somewhere in California. And I brought him through all kinds of deals, introduced him to DJ Quick, Jodeci, and,
Mm-hmm.
like they do, they usurped their way in and lied and took false pictures and tell false stories and
Right.
put themselves in position. And I found out by grace,
Mm-hmm.
he found that he forged my signature. That was his payback to me.
Oh,
See, the
no.
old Chris would have probably mailed him to different states, but
Mm-hmm.
we've got to overcome that too. So that's
Right.
why I put myself on the front line of it. Love is the only thing. And again,
Right.
understand that people will let you down. But if
Right.
you have if you have the Christos, the God in you in check, then you can find a better solution, a higher
Yeah.
solution than destruction, division, and the same old thing. Because that's what we're all caught in. Let's make sure we're doing the same old thing. There's
Right.
a
You can
different
navigate
person, there's
these
different
waters
face.
better. Yeah, you can navigate everything better if you have yourself grounded because you can't control
And
other people because they will
yeah,
Right.
disappoint you.
we
But if
sit
Right.
you
there and
have
talk about
yourself
it,
grounded, you can
like
navigate through most any situation and come out on
and,
the other
and you got
side.
and you got to think it through and look in the mirror. Like again, we're all afraid as melanated people. Not afraid. I don't want to use the word fear, but there's a healthy concern of white supremacy right now going on with the regime and the hate for
Mm-hmm.
for for our current president.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, I hear people say that, but as soon as the regime says, "Hey, go take a shot, go do this," we line up and do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Right.
February 28th, I'm confused. I thought we weren't supposed to buy. So they make a last minute decision to say, hey, it's okay now to do it. Then we run in and say, okay, we're going to support. I'm just confused
Right.
Right.
because again, we're still supporting their business. Even though they're black people in their business, there's still a bottom line for them. When do
Mm-hmm.
we tell our own stories? We're doing it, but not at a high enough clip. And that's what I think each one teach one. That's why, me and my partners, we have great plans for the company Promised Land, where we just want to be a blessing to people, a place where
Mhm.
people can heal and and not because they can afford it, because it should be every human's right to understand the truth about nature and earthing and
Right.
um
Mhm.
what kind of water is best for the body. There's so many crazy scenarios in the world when you really think about it. You start researching and praying and
Mm-hmm.
meditating for yourself and saying, okay, like they'll tell you drink 8 glasses of water, 16 glasses of water. You will be hydrated, but you won't
Right.
have any minerals in your body.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's
'Cause
we're looking forward. You know what I'm looking forward. I know we'll be following for Promised Land and for all the things to come because this is very interesting. It's very eye opening. So we
right.
don't want to give everything away for everybody right now because then what are you
Stay
gonna have
tuned.
in the summer? What are you gonna have
Oh,
when the
because
podcast
I'm
comes?
tuning in. We may have to
Right.
do a girls trip. Listen, we
We'll
said, look, the
definitely be
kids are
tuning in.
older. We're new empty nest. Well, I'm a new empty
I'm not an
nester.
empty nester yet, but
Well, you
you know,
waited. You
not yet.
waited till you
Hey,
listen. You
hey,
should have
hey!
jumped
I
on
had to
board
wait till I
when.
calmed down. But anyway,
Well,
anyway, we're
but
looking forward to it.
we may have to add that to the list of a road trip and
Right.
go
I
check
wrote
out
it down.
Vince and his. You got it and his
Oh, I
business.
got it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That would be
so
great. That'd be great.
definitely, definitely. Because I mean, it sounds very interesting and it sounds it's very needed. So
And I can
yeah,
tell you're passionate about it, and that makes it even
yeah,
better, even more anticipatory. Wanting to know, like, let's get there. Let's see what's going on. Let's learn some more. It's
Yeah,
very
and it's
interesting.
and it's not just my hope. We need to hear from other people who have great
Yes,
input about hope.
absolutely.
I'm just
we
hoping that
do.
people heal. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And my truth may not be everybody's truth, but it's my truth, and the same applies to everybody else. I think that though, when you stop like looking at the media and for them to answer questions, and you stop thinking like again, the great Dick Gregory said this: everybody want to get a symptom and be like, I need to run to the doctor. That could be cool, but you don't run to the doctor when you have a drink or when you smoke weed or when you do drugs. When you sniff coke, you don't go consult the doctor. So how are you so sure? Because a medical practitioner who has taken a Hippocratic oath is really in pocket to really heal you.
Uh-huh.
Say that all the time. Why would an oppressive system give you the keys to your own liberty? It ain't gonna happen.
It'll put them
So
out of
you can,
business. Uh-huh.
so you can march and
Absolutely.
you can march and shout and pass judgment all you want, but it's really in here to find out.
Right.
To
Well,
find.
I think
That's a
on that
great,
note,
yes, yes.
we are so looking forward to, I can't wait for you to launch the new podcast, the restaurant, continue with the singing, and maybe go back into acting. I don't know.
Yeah, we will. We will for sure. I'm working on
You
a
know,
working
pick
on a
up and
story
go to
about
the
mama.
batting. Yeah, and go to the batting cage. An athlete is always an athlete. That's what I was told. You might
I
can't
do. I
run,
just
but
got to slow it down. That's all.
right. We all do. We all do. Well, Chris,
I'm not hitting nothing over 80 miles an hour right now.
well, just try. You never
Right.
know.
Just as long as you hit something,
Just
then you're
try.
good.
Oh no, I
Yeah, then you,
tried. I feel it in my hands.
that's all it
See?
takes. Yeah, you'll feel it tomorrow, the next day, but it'll
Right.
feel good at the
Right.
moment.
I think I'm at the time in life where it's time to pick up some golf clubs.
Yeah, we tried that. It didn't go well for us.
It was hilarious. It
It
was
was fun.
absolutely
It was
hilarious.
fun, but
I got
Yes.
to transition from Tiger Woods on the PlayStation to real, and I'm actually okay. But it's funny, like being a baseball and like in basketball and football, and I played a little tennis. So, I mean, I played around with tennis. Never was like something I did all the time. But I'm really like a basketball, baseball, football player, and I like to bowl. But you know,
oh,
yeah, I like to bowl. I can bowl a little bit. But now it's like, I used to bowl all night. I bowl 2, 3 games now. I'm like, you know what?
listen,
I need a
we
nap.
used to do a lot of things. We used to do a lot of things all night. But
Right.
Yeah,
listen,
that's
the
true.
party didn't jump off till what, 11, 12 o'clock. You just
I'm
be
in
Yeah,
the
like,
bed.
10, 30, 11
yeah,
o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the bed now
Dude,
at
I'm
that.
about to get up. I'm about to get up in 4.5 hours at 11, 12 o'clock.
Seriously?
So just taking, my beautiful granddaughter, she's so excited
Oh my
about
God.
the
I
things
was
that
just
could
about to
transpire.
say, I cannot wait to meet her because let me just say this. With my daughters being in tennis and starting at that age, to me, it's like I'm looking at them again at that age. I remember when mine were
And I
like
know it
that.
makes you feel good that they're now, I'm sure the way your daughters or Coco and them may have looked at Venus and Serena, that they're Corey's looking at Alicia and
Uh-huh.
Coco
Uh-huh.
and Naomi Osaki and those
Yes,
melanated women and
Yes.
saying, wow,
yes,
this could be
yeah,
possible,
yeah.
you know?
And
Exactly.
she
So,
can't, and she,
so
whatever it is, listen, you have talked, as long as you're in her life and listening to you, she's going to be, and not taking away from your kids, because I don't know if she calls you Papa, Granddaddy, I don't know.
because you
Papa, no, but you, with long as she has you, Papa, and the love and the guidance and your knowledge,
Yep.
your baby girl is going to be amazing.
yeah,
Amazing. And
she's
you're going to do
she's a
everything you
sweetheart.
can to help. Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. She's a bright light. She's fast. Her father was a wide receiver, so at Arizona State. So I could see that she's fast as lightning because I certainly can't run around with her for but like an hour. Then I'm like, Papa, I've got to sit down. I'm
Pop-Up's
teaching
got
her
to
how
take
to
a rest.
I'm teaching her how to
Right.
massage my ears and my temple
Look,
and
you go
stuff.
ahead. Yeah, you go ahead, baby. I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna watch you. Yeah. Yeah. We know about that.
Y'all are funny.
And
Y'all are
I'm
funny.
driving her like, if you rub Popeye's ears for about 15 minutes, and then I'll wake right back up. I'll
Right.
rejuvenate.
Exactly.
And
It
see,
is
and she
hilarious.
falls for it. That's when this the perfect age. You can
Oh
tell
my
them
Yeah,
God,
anything.
yes. They
yeah.
just
And she, and
Listen, I
she,
love.
gotta tell this. I gotta tell this quick story. You tell your babe. No, don't tell her yet because she's still young. So, at that age, and because Michaela and Alicia both started playing tennis at 7 and 8 years old. Alicia was 7 and Michaela was 8. But I can remember, and it's not a tennis story. You know how you ask your kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like every year I would ask them, like, all right, you still want to be a teacher? Michaela wanted to be a teacher. Alicia always wanted to be a police officer. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
a
Okay.
police
Yes, you always. So one day, they start losing teeth and you do the tooth fairy kind of thing. One year I asked Alicia, I said, you still want to be a police officer? And she says, no. I says, oh, what do you want to do now? The tooth fairy. I want to be a tooth fairy. I'm like, okay, wait, little girl.
See, she believed. She believed with everything
And I
she
said,
had.
why do you want to be the tooth fairy? And I forgot I told her. She says, well, Mom, remember you told me. I asked you, what does the tooth fairy do with the teeth? And I had to come up with something quick. So I says, well, the tooth fairy disinfects the teeth, cleans them up, get everything sterilized. And then she has to recycle them for the new babies. So the new babies will have teeth. So because of that, she thought, oh my God, I
Yeah.
want to
Do
give
you
back
see what
like
I have?
that.
Look, do you see what I've had to endure with this creativity here?
But
Prime
that's a
example.
powerful note that what seeds you put in them
Yeah.
will certainly
Yeah.
come out.
I'm like, all right, kid. Yeah, we got to talk.
Because they're so they listen and they take in everything. They're just sponges. So
I'm still trying to find out where she got wanting to be a police officer from. What made
I
her?
don't know. I honestly, guys, we don't have. Let me see. Trying to
Nothing
think.
against police officers. I'm just
Nothing
saying I've
against
not.
them, but it's not like she had like a family member that was a police officer.
Right.
We don't have anybody in our family that are officers, so I don't know what made her.
Maybe
that's
she
it.
saw one make a kind gesture. Or she saw something positive. She was like,
Well,
"Oh, that was nice."
Hopefully, or she been wanting
she's
to grab
never.
somebody.
Yeah, when she grew up, she was never girly. She was always kind of tomboyish a little bit. They never, both of them never really played with dolls, no matter how hard I tried. So they were always outdoorsy and sportsy. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I blame Mike. I do.
That's how
I
Corey
agree.
is. She doesn't really dog.
Oh,
Like she does like Build a Bear though. She loves Build a Bear.
oh yeah, Build a
But
Bear is the
it's
best.
not so much the doll, it's the
Uh-uh.
fashion for her. It's
She
she
be
likes
getting her.
to coordinate because her mom is
Uh-huh.
my daughter Cece is a little fashionista. She's a diva. So she gets that from her mama.
That's
But I
okay.
guess
Well, you know
I
what?
guess her daughter gets I guess her Cece gets a little bit from me.
Yeah. Well, enjoy it now because they are girly now. Both of them are very.
Oh no, my
You'll
daughter is
find
not at
very
all.
pretty.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But Avery
My
is a
daughter,
brilliant
she
mind.
is very mind centered. She's just brilliant, and I'm like,
Brilliant.
at 18, I was so far away from how she is, and it's like, thank
Because you
you,
in the
Lord,
streets.
because you
You
know
Right.
with the
what?
part. It's like, okay.
Well, I say the same thing about my four. I'm like, I'm just thankful that they didn't
Yeah.
have to go through what I went through and who I was at
Uh-huh.
18.
Right.
Thank God there were no
Woo!
Yes.
cameras.
Right.
None of
Because
that
had there
then. No
been,
social media
oh,
then. Freaknik and
uh.
all of that. Yeah, no. Yeah.
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 I was getting on the train at 11 years old, going downtown.
Wow. See, we were suburban.
We were like,
We couldn't
me
travel
and my
like that.
friends were like
Are
Huckleberry
you
Finn and
serious?
Tom Sawyer. We were like,
Yeah, you couldn't. I
Y'all
couldn't
everywhere.
breathe.
I'm writing
I
a
couldn't
book
breathe.
too,
I
so
couldn't
the
breathe.
stories of my childhood are gonna be. I was literally like, I was. Stay
You
tuned.
were you were everywhere.
We gonna touch on that later. Yeah, we
Right,
see we
right.
came from the missing and murdered kids at the time. All this will be
Because
edited out. So
we're in Atlanta. Well,
my
we
parents,
were raised in
I
Atlanta.
couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't
I
go
don't blame them. And
No.
I wish I had some parents to go. And thank God I was adopted by great parents. So I wound up
Yep.
being, adopted by my aunt, and that was probably one of the greatest shifts of my life.
Yeah.
And through them, I really was able to get founded in the Word. And you know, again, Christopher Williams has always been dueling with the double heart, the double mind.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to destruction, the projects, or am I going to purpose? And I choose
And it's
purpose.
intentional. Your intention is to go to a purpose, and that is fantastic. You see how that has won you over.
Right.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. And I
well,
could also
friend,
touch the knuckleheads, and I know that's important too, because when I
Right.
listen. I'm okay. We're
Yes.
gonna leave that alone. 'Cause
somebody's got to grab them, and again,
tell
into
We
and
grabbing.
we got to show them a heart and grab them a little bit, and just at least let them know the right information. And then when they get to a certain age, they're young adults, so they're gonna make their decision. But
Mm-hmm.
if they don't have the information and all that kind of stuff, again, like when I was 16, 18, if I knew you could put $20,000 in an IRA and get $2 million when I'm 50 years
Right.
old,
Right. You got to get the information. Exactly.
It probably.
I remember all the burnt buildings in the Bronx and Harlem. They were offering us for $1, $100. We didn't see the beauty in we didn't see our value because we were just misinformed about everything, including that we're not monkeys and we're not three-fifths of a human being and all those, and that we deserve to have a life where we have to ask, may I please, master, will you please let me? Because that's not who we are. We're not slaves. We are the source.
Right.
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 We were the
Yep.
money that took everything. They took our identities, our money, rewrote history, rewrote that book.
And they're trying to erase history now, but yeah, we're not
Right.
gonna.
That's
But
not
but
gonna
you know
happen.
what? That's going to be a good thing because people think it's bad. But remember how God operates. He wants you to have the faith in him first so that you can experience the things unseen. Again, all of the stuff is looking like, just like when you ever notice in life, things look really good and you're like, oh, things are good. They're not really good. There's a yin and a yang to everything. So they're breaking down this history, but they're going to allow truth to be the new history.
Right.
Just like people saying, well, they're taking away this, they're taking away that. When something's broken, it has to be fixed. And sometimes there are certain times when a something is broken and you can't fix it. You need a whole new water heater.
Right.
It may be a different heater. It may be a different kind of system you need.
Right.
Like you can't go from an old house and expect your house to feel air conditioned if you don't open the ducts up all over the house to have central air. So
Right.
just so
You
that
just
there
gotta trust the process. Just let it.
Yeah.
Let's
Just
kind
get
of.
to shake some things sometimes.
if you're really a believer, believe that God is really the creator's on the throne.
Right.
He's going to get the glory from this. The problem is that the people who write this system and who run this world, they want us to believe their system. So every time they've given us something, they've really not given us anything because they've given us a lie. Even down to Black Lives Matter, the NAACP, all that stuff is ran by white organizations. I'm not saying there hasn't been good that comes from it, but it hasn't. There's been very little that benefits us when you look at what it really has done. That's why all these systems, the government, they're shutting this stuff down because they're like, these have been the means of how they steal tax dollars.
Right.
So these systems have to come down. Now the scary part is what's going to come up. Is it tyranny or is it going to be something we the people? Now again, the fact that Social Security tax has been cut for the elderly, there are some signs that maybe even through these harsh words and people, because I don't want people to be hurt by whether the red person or technically the orange person or the blue lady who's lying about her ethnicity.
Right.
All of a sudden
Yeah.
she
The
gets in
labels
front of
mean
us and
nothing.
starts collard greens.
Right.
What is the significance of you knowing how to cook collard greens? And I'm like, what is what is all of this porch monkey business going on? I'm like really? And to tell stories about who you are, when people start reading truth about history, they will learn that no one's elected. These people are all in the same bloodline. They've been selected. But when you're taught that, like, we're casting a vote, when you get to the root of these words and you start understanding what all of this stuff really means, the word for job is punishment. Job in Hebrew means punishment. Earn means go get your job and earn. That's why everybody's fixed on chasing the bag.
Right.
And this is something new. This happened in 1942 when the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers merged their theories and created this thing called economy. And it has all systematically worked. And when we get in position, especially their modus operandi, and sometimes we unfortunately help them, is they're like, you can enjoy it while you're here, but before you leave here, we're getting our bread back. Whether
Some kind of way, in some way, shape,
whether you're
form.
Bill Cosby, I don't care who you are, whether you invented all of these things that we've never gotten patents or trademarks for, like we own Seneca Park, we own Manhattan Beach, this is our land, this is the promised land. All this farce about where's the land of milk and honey? Where they profess the land of milk and honey to be? What is it produced? I want somebody to prove that theory wrong. What has it produced?
Right. All in
Lies?
these Yeah.
lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot.
And it's not
It's a
just us
lot
who
to
have to be,
look
it's
into.
not just us who need education. There's a lot of what they call hickhoppers or rednecks or whatever you want to call them, these names. They're becoming educated and realizing also that, you know what? These black people are not our enemy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Oh,
system.
that's the
So
good
so
thing.
now
That
they're
part is a good
becoming
thing
so
when you
they're
have
becoming
where people can
they're
learn.
so they're becoming enraged at the system instead of us.
And it's unfolding as we speak. Like
Because
literally,
they
it's
realize, yo,
literally
we've been
unfolding.
designed to be pitted
Yep.
together.
Right.
Yep.
It's
Yep. Change has to happen. Change has to occur. Now you're connected to that change.
is what part of history you're talking about. But you're trying to get rid of DEI, not knowing that you're affecting your own people.
Your own pocket.
The
Yep.
white women were the number one people that were benefiting from this.
And
now
that's
you
right.
want to
And
backtrack.
what if we change it to not inclusion? Why do we have to be included?
Just
Why
what
can't we just
do
why
the
can't we
right
just
thing,
have our
Miss
own?
America. Just we could talk about this till we're blue in the
Yeah, I'm
face.
like,
And a lot of this and a lot of the stuff, like they say, that the media is perpetuated, in time,
Mhm.
I believe we're all gonna see
Mhm.
what the real addendum of this administration as opposed to every other administration has been. Again,
Mhm.
I'm not really a pro government person, but we're
Mhm.
living in this world. So I'm hoping that whoever's in office is
Right.
going to do what they can to make we the people really the objective. And
Regardless of
I
what.
haven't
Okay.
seen that in
Mhm.
in my life, and I've been around for a minute now, but I have not seen it.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So
Well,
again,
Yeah.
I'm like, that to me should have been the number one. And I know they blocked him, and there were a lot of things that they were doing
Yeah,
to him. And
he did face an uphill battle that he did
no
face.
question.
Mhm.
But again, when you get to the root of it, there's an
Mhm.
addendum before they even get
Mhm.
in. And
Absolutely.
you can
Mhm.
see that there are some things that this administration is bucking tradition because they're like, that tradition has not worked.
Mhm.
So it is a little scary for people, and it's going to be daunting at times. But I truly believe, because of my faith in the Creator, that He will appoint a unlikely person to do miraculous things.
Chris, first of all, it's fun. We hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed. We want to bring you
Oh, I
back
love you.
after you launch
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Oh my God, please come back. Please come
Oh, well,
back.
for
We would
sure.
love that.
And be sure, anybody listening, I'll be coming back to the city wineries this summer. I'll be
Okay.
in a lot of other fests. You'll see me coming around with my brothers after 7. We're trying to bring this love thing back.
Yeah.
So just continue, and I'll be doing something with your amazing husband too. And I just have to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
But yeah, we got to have a conversation again because there's some interesting stuff that now I'm
Whenever-
starting to
Mhm.
research.
We're gonna
Yeah.
bring y'all on the podcast too. That'll be fun. Because when you meet my buddy Kenyatta
Girl,
and
road trip.
Road trip. Look, write
great.
that down.
And
The
don't
food
pick
will be
on us
great.
about the accent. Yeah,
Right.
don't
Because
pick on us about
it,
accent. We're gonna make you a
Wait,
tomato sandwich.
so
no, we're
I'll
not.
eat it.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I'll eat
No,
it.
we're not.
As long as it's
Mm-mm.
good.
We are
Right,
absolutely not
Chris.
doing that.
God,
Thank you very
we'll
much.
do something
Bye.
later.
See you later. Bye bye.